Thank you very much. Morning, Darren Newton from the PNP. Dr. Davies, in relation to the transition process, what about public sector workers or people who are contracted by the previous government, well, the current government that's going on now? What sort of job security is there for those who are political appointees or perhaps head of various corporate bodies?
Well, I think you in their question, the tail part of your question, there is a clear distinction between persons contracted as professionals, as opposed to someone who has been a clear political appointment. So there's no blanket response. A contract is a contract, but there's we will treat differently between political appointees, straight political appointees, and those who are professionals contracted.
Let me ask you another one. Political appointees who have proven themselves to be good at what
case by case.
Will be on a case by case.
Case by case.
Yes. Michelle, yes.
Michelle Thomas, CBM. Just a follow-up to that question. I noted a report where the Attorney General has indicated that he will tender his resignation. In the same spirit, would you be encouraging anybody else to follow suit so that you can have a clear?
Well, I don't know the juxtaposition of your statement plus your question. We had nothing to do with Mr. Graham's decision to tender his resignation. As a matter of fact, we have no official knowledge of it. And we like you saw it in the media.
And so
yes, Michelle.
The question in the spirit of what I understand is that he said he would leave to give the incoming administration a free hand to select who they wish to insert posts. And so again, I ask the question: will you be encouraging anybody else that?
Well, let me commend Mr. Graham on his decision. It's a commendable offer, but we have nothing to do with it. But I would like to commend him on that. As again, my answer is a case by case issue. Let me indicate that I think we have enough evidence of the negative poisonous effect of statements aimed at public officials, and in recent memory we have learned a lot just by observing bad practices.
Can you remind me, please, of the position of the People's National Party as it relates to separating the posts of Attorney General versus Justice Minister?
Well, we have not articulated a position. The previous administration on the previous led by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding ostensibly acted on the recommendation of the commissioners and took a decision, but we have not articulated a position.
Yes, please, General Person.
General Person Stevie J. Sir, in looking at the transition, have you any at all taken into consideration the recommendations of the public sector transformation unit? Or would you have to wait until the new cabinet is installed before looking into that?
Well, the recommendations related to specific departments, etc. They speak to implicitly by virtue of the recommendations as to what should be amalgamated. There was speaking to the structure of ministries. Yes, we have taken it into consideration, but we have views also in terms of what are the issues. And let me indicate, for example, that, and I'm just giving one example. Say that the matter of climate change is something of great import, but prior to this, no administration has seen fit to list that as a specific area. No.
General, sorry. Follow up.
So basically, you're going to revisit these recommendations.
Well, we'll take them into consideration, and I revisit. Well, let's not quibble about words. Yes, we'll take them into consideration.
Yeah.
But we are not going to be slavishly following them.
Oh.
Diane?
So,
I'm sorry, you finished?
No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Dr. Davies,
People aren't interested
No,
in
no, no,
tomorrow.
no,
Okay, good. It's all right.
No, go ahead, go ahead with your line. Go ahead. Can always change
Mr.
it.
Paulwell, because
Yeah.
I know this time there will be a seat available for the opposition leader.
Yeah.
But Dr. Davies, of the pressing issues within the first, people normally say up 100 days. We expect the leader the Prime Minister tomorrow to outline some of those. But as it relates to the transition, what are those areas you're actually working on to ensure that you can hit the ground running when the table?
Well, Doreen, the first point I want to make, and I've made it prior, and we will make it again, is that we don't know at all what is the true state of affairs. We have lived in a fairy tale land that since April we have no idea as to what is the situation with the IMF. We have no information in terms of the level of arrears. And these are all issues which will impact on just assessing what can be done when you hit that track. We don't know if there's a big hole 10 yards down that track. So the first order of business for all ministers is to determine as quickly as possible, a rapid analysis, as quickly as possible, what is the true state of affairs. And we have suspicions, but we frankly do not know. And the first order of business after that is putting together a supplementary budget which reflects those realities.
Any other question?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
General.
You speak of supplementary budgets, etc. Where does JDIP come into all of this?
Well, you don't have a day, right? They discuss JDIP, but JDIP is we were told by Prime Minister Holness that there was a forensic audit which he had commissioned. We don't know if it has been initiated, but we certainly need to know the findings of that forensic audit. We need to know there are reports, and there are credible reports, that the budget for 2011-2012 has been exhausted, but the work is still to be completed. And this applies not only to the JDIP projects, but also to the Palisaders Road. So, Doreen, we genuinely do not know the true state of affairs. And we sincerely expect that the media will be much more inquisitive and pressing with this administration than it was with the previous one.
Follow up there.
If I may have a follow-up to that,
Yeah.
in relation to that is how soon in the transition of the process would you be engaging the Chinese as a matter of negotiating and the JDIP 4G?
I would say sooner than expected.
What does
We
that
will
mean?
be-
2 weeks?
I would say you can count time in minus quantities, even before swearing in. Even before swearing in, that engagement will be taking place.
So you have started?
I said even before, we all have a time before 4 o'clock tomorrow.
I know.
If you like me, you've been working 18-hour days. Yes, you have a lot of time.
And is your role for the former?
Yes.
Is your role for the former governor of the Bank of Jamaica in
JDIP.
not JDIP in the administration going forward?
The country is short of financial resources, but even more than financial resources, the country is short of intellectual resources, experienced intellectual resources, and there is no way that we could have someone with the experience and capability of former Governor Latimer here without us utilizing that expertise.
So would you be considering commissions of inquiries? Because as you pointed out, there are several issues that need exploring, etc. Would you be considering commissions of inquiries going forward, or would you just keep it to just audit?
I am just speaking as a member of the transition team. Cabinet will have to make those decisions.
Okay, and to Mr. Paulwell.
Okay, good.
So you're saying 10,000, perhaps, on your guest list. Are we expecting a very lavish ceremony?
No. Again, I have to be definitive about the request, the mandate, the instruction from the Prime Minister designate. In keeping with the spirit and theme of sobriety, we are mandated to keep the function at a minimum cost. In fact, before the elections, there was an interministerial team that was planning a swearing-in ceremony, and they had established a budget of 4.2 million. The Prime Minister designate wanted to cut that to 2.9. We only settled at 3.3 because procurement was done before and contracts committed, but not a cent, she has insisted. And by the way, those procurement and contracts were not done by us. They were done in anticipation of a ceremony. The extent of the commitment was $3.3 million. She has said not a cent more. So you're going to find that there will not be an extensive reception. In fact, the reception that the GG will host will only be for the visiting heads. It will not be for more than 40 persons. So it's going to be quite a limited reception. And again, it's going to be business-like. We're going to be out of there by 5:30.
I did not add, but I listened in onto a conversation between the Prime Minister-elect and Comrade Paulwell. She was quite explicit in establishing her benchmarks. I think he got the message.
So just for clarification, so the swearing in is on Thursday, will the cabinet be sworn in on Friday?
By tomorrow we'll be able to be more definitive. There will be at the minimum the swearing in of at the minimum of a few critical positions on Friday. The Prime Minister-elect is seeking to complete the whole package so that we could have a full swearing in on Friday.
Any other? Sorry?
Dr. Davies, just going back a bit to the transition, there were some key campaign pledges that the People's National Party made. I understand you say you need to understand the true state of affairs, but one, the removal of the GCT,